Hello and welcome back to the Snook Nook. This week I sat down with Erin Hallagan Clare, the founder and artistic director of Story Parlor, a community performing arts space in West Asheville. Erin is doing and facilitating some really beautiful and inspiring work, and I look forward to sharing her story with you. Enjoy! Hello and welcome back to the Snook Nook. I am Simone Snook, realtor with Unicorn Realty at Fathom, and I am here today with Erin Hallagan Clare. She is the founder and artistic director of Story Parlor in West Asheville. Hello, Erin. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. So first of all, opening question, where are you from originally and how did you make your way here to Asheville?
I'm from the DC area originally. Grew up kind of in DC, Maryland, Virginia, though I don't really talk about the Maryland part too often. And I went to school in Philadelphia and I was there for about 6 years. Moved back to DC after school and then was looking to just get off of the East Coast. And so Austin had always been this novelty of a city in my mind, and so my partner, now husband at the time, and I moved there with no jobs and knowing no one in 2010, and we're there for 10 years. After, or right before the pandemic and after we had our first son, wanted to get a little bit closer to our family who are all still in the DC area. And so kind of put together a list of what would we love in a new place for this next chapter with our family. And we're really kind of looking for the most Pacific Northwesty town this side of the Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And Asheville checked most of the boxes. And so we got here in 2020.
So tell me about Story Parlor and the work you do here and what made you decide to start it.
So I've always been in the arts. I've always been really more behind the scenes, and I've loved the producing, the programming, the puzzle piece part of working within the arts. I think the idea really came to fruition probably about 14, 15 years ago in seeing story as the centerfold of what artists were doing. You know, a poet is telling a story, a theater artist is telling a story, a filmmaker is telling a story. And as soon as I was reverent to that, it was hard not to see it in all of the art mediums that I was consuming. And once I started working in Austin for the Austin Film Festival, they're known as the Writers Festival, I was programming their Writers Conference and was really dedicated to the art, craft, and business of storytelling through film, through television, and what later became a whole bunch of other mediums at the festival. And so I got to really have this more scholarly deep dive into the nooks and crannies of how that worked. And so that's where the idea for Story Parlor began to take shape. And in 2015, I established an LLC in Austin, for which was then called Story Bar, and tried in Austin to get it up off of its feet and find a venue and start doing programming and really explore this idea of bringing artists and audiences together through mediums that maybe they wouldn't otherwise get to explore all in one space. And really tried to find a venue and it just wasn't working, for multiple reasons. And in the seams of all of that was really trying to build a community so that whenever the day came, not only would we have people to come through the doors, but also just kind of to test some things out and see what worked and what didn't work. And so in that time, it was dedicated to also putting together events all over Austin. And so we were in, at one point, a local farm, and we did a farm to fable event. We did an event at Google Fiber, speakeasies, bars, restaurants, a barn, and it was really informative to learning how to put on an event and be flexible within all of that, and how to communicate with the audiences and with the artists. Throughout all of that, a lot of people were coming up and asking, how do I tell my story? How do I put, my lived experience into a poem or into a song? And so that's when we started putting together classes and looking into how that might work. And then, like I said, we had our first kiddo and COVID. And at that point, it was just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, trying to find a space. And the Vagabond initiative was working. And so, just kind of kept that. And when COVID came along and wanting to get close, just migrated a lot of those classes online and put the dream in a drawer until we made our way here and saw this space.
It's amazing, like the origin story goes back so far, but now you finally have this space, and that's fantastic. So what is one of your favorite artists or events or programs that you've done here at Story Parlor?
So I have a soft spot in my heart for the classes. I love those so much. We do a creativity lab where we spend 7 weeks exploring our unique creative processes and work with a project in tandem and look at what are the individual blocks that I have coming up, what are those tied to as far as the stories I'm telling myself, how can I start to unravel some of that narrative and build out a more healthy, sustainable relationship. And then we also offer a story lab, which explores how to use your lived experience and repurpose that for creative work of any medium. And I just love that because of the conversation that happens at the table and getting to meet so many really wonderful people and hear their stories in this more intimate, vulnerable way. I would say as far as events, we just wrapped this summer on our artist residency, which we do once a year. And it's called a Story Arts Residency, and we look to really give a platform to underrepresented voices here in Asheville and bridge together the community through storytelling. And we had a woman named Shunyu Wong who came and did a memory quilt project where she explored the 5 senses and found all of these different artists and storytellers through town to come and share stories rooted in their own memory that was linked to taste, touch, sound, and on and on. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful series that I felt really touched upon the mission of what we're doing and our core values. And each evening ended in a community circle where the folks who attended would have the opportunity to share their own memories and their own reflections. So that's still fresh in mind and was pretty special.
Oh, that sounds really like a very beautiful experience. How long was she here?
It's a month long as far as the performances go. We open applications in January. Our selection committee reviews in the spring with the goal of identifying an applicant or a group by May. And then from May through June, we work on developing the piece. We provide professional headshots, videography, just things that when we're looking for an artist, somebody who hasn't quite, made it or is established, to really help them in their own journey as a creative. We provide creativity coaching and a handful of other opportunities. And so the whole process is about 6 months long.
Wow.
And then I would say probably 3 months with the artist after they're determined.
What is something that has surprised you about owning your own business, or something big you've learned?
Oh boy.
Or I guess it's probably hard to narrow that down, but one thing.
I have 2 things that kind of go hand in hand. One is how similar running a business is to the creative process. And I've found in studying creativity and studying the creative process, the more that you can let go and let be, the more fruitful and organically it will all evolve. And, with any creative project I'm working on, that has been the truth, while also acknowledging there's going to be ebbs and flows, and there's going to be really hard parts, and there's going to be really beautiful surprises. And all of that translates to running a business. And I don't think it's specific to a creative business. I think also there's the argument that all, business owners are doing creative work. And because I've been so fascinated with that process, it's been really illuminating in how all of this has unraveled, and also coming at it with more of a loose grip opposed to the ironclad control that I want to have deep down.
I can relate to that for sure.
So I think that's been a nice surprise and a big lesson.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that is a very important lesson that I am still trying to learn every day.
Likewise, yeah. I understand it intellectually.
Yes. Yeah. And I know what I have to do. It's how do we do it?
Right.
Yeah. Outside of work, you've got 2 little kids. What do you enjoy doing with them, or places you like to go in the Asheville area?
I mean, a big reason we moved here was the outdoors. And so I feel like that cures all. If I feel like I'm in a rut, or we're dealing with a really tantrum heavy morning, or, really anything, getting outside feels to just be such a cure-all. And so, we'll go to Hominy Creek and the botanical gardens all of the time. And it's just so simple. But if we can pick up some rocks and throw them in the creek, it's really
That's
lovely.
its own creative process too.
Yeah. I think a lot of my spare time, if you have that as a mother, I try and spend that with my family as much as possible. So I wish I could, wax poetic on all of the incredible restaurants here, because I know they exist. But we go to the ones where you can have free-range children, and so we're at a lot of breweries. We go to Hillman and Whistle Hop and Highland Brewery and Creekside, and those are all lovely. And the Parkway, and then trying to get more camping in. That was one of my favorite things pre-children, and I think it's just a matter of, because they're so young, putting in the sweat equity now, so it works well later.
Absolutely.
So trying to get some trips like that in here and there.
Well, Erin, thank you so much for speaking with me today. This is a wonderful place, and I'm so excited to have learned more about what you do. And where can people find more information?
So our website is storyparloravl.com, and you can find us on social media, either on Instagram, same at storyparloravl, or facebook.com/storyparloravl. And my email and contact information is everywhere. I'm always open to any questions or ideas. We work with, I should mention, a community art space. And so aside from, the residency and these workshops, everything that comes through the space is programmed by people in Asheville. And so we're always looking for people to come in and put on their own creative vision, and to provide a home for that. And so, that's why we exist and what we're here for.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Have a great day.